Hello everyone, Carolyn Russin here, professional life coach. Thanks for joining me today. I want to talk to you about something, the one word that keeps coming up all the time when I'm working with clients is the word stuck. And that people at this point in their lives feel very, very stuck, unmotivated, unfulfilled. You know, some of those things are just really, really common for so many people. But that stuck one is always there. It's just not sure where I'm going, not sure where I'm at right now, not sure what I'm supposed to be doing. And when you get into that spot, it's kind of tough to figure out, okay, what now? Hi, Yvonne. How do we get beyond that stuck? And sometimes people talk about motivation and lacking that motivation. And yes, good morning to you. I know you're over on the West Coast or west side of the country. And so it's understanding a few basic principles here. Good morning, Susie, or good afternoon, Susie. So one of the things that I think of examples that keep coming to mind. Hi, Deborah. Feeling stuck. I remember as a little girl, I grew up and we had a pool in our backyard. And I kind of self-taught myself how to swim. But I didn't know how to dive. And I wanted to learn how to dive. And so my dad, who was a non-swimmer, he could manage in our backyard pool, but really was a non-swimmer, was trying to teach me how to dive. Bless his heart, you know, he was doing the best he could. But I was terrified. And I remember I would be at the end of the diving board with my toes over the edge, you know, leaning down, head down, arms out. And he'd be, okay, like you're in the right position, okay, go. And I wouldn't move. I'd be frozen because I was terrified. I was so terrified I'd get hurt. I'd do it wrong. It wouldn't feel good, all those things. And that exact same scenario is where so many of us find ourselves today. Yes, we're not squatting down at the end of the diving board with our toes over the edge, but our toes are over the edge for a lot of the things that we're thinking we should be doing. And there's a fear there. There's a fear of, what if I do it wrong? What if I look stupid? What if I get hurt? All of those stop us. You know, a lot of the times when I talk to women who are trying to lose weight, they'll say, yeah, I've tried this, they've kind of dabbled. And it's interesting because I know for many of them, one of the biggest fears is, okay, if I really do this, if I really watch what I eat and I really exercise and I throw myself into this and it works, then what? The fear for them is this how I have to spend the rest of my life? Exercising like this and being this diligent, otherwise I'm going to go back to the way I was. And that's how, hi Lynn, often we self-sabotage. Because the fear is, if we have to work that hard all the time to achieve that, then let's not even try in the first place. So it depends on what it is that you're looking at and how important it is to you. Is this a health thing? Is this just an interest thing? So one of the things that keeps us stuck are fears. Fears of, what if it works? What if I fail? What if I'm hurt? It's all those what ifs. Hi, Mary Lou. But what if it works? What if you're successful? What if this is turning over a whole new life or a whole new leaf in your life? We're so quick to look at the what if it doesn't work that we actually don't have that communication, that conversation in our head of what happens if it does? How's that going to change my life? How's that going to bring me more joy? How's that going to bring me greater health, depending on what it is that you're talking about? So I'd really challenge yourself, hi Sheila, is when you are thinking of making a change and you are feeling stuck, and think about why. Why are you stuck? What is it you're afraid of? Is it that you will be successful? Is it that you're going to get hurt? Is it you're going to disappoint people? Hi, Laura. Think of what's holding you back. Sometimes we don't know how. And then that's a whole other conversation. But if it's fears, what are the fears holding you back? And then, but is that really true? And what if it does work? What if I can do this? How is that going to change my life? You got to feel both. You can't just feel the negative. You got to feel both. But after doing that, I want to start really looking at, okay, here are 5 things that I want you to think about when you're feeling stuck to implement some new things in your life. So first of all, it's really important, hi Crystal, it's really important that you understand the why. Why is it you want to make this change? Because if you are not passionate about the why, it's not going to happen. Or if you don't know the why, it's not going to happen. And you know what? I'm going to jump back to the weight loss thing. That's not my area of specialty, but I don't know why. It's just in my head. A lot of times when I talk to women who want to lose weight, I talk to them about the why. Because if you have in your head, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want that number on the scale to be 20 pounds lower. The difficulty with that is we're all in this life-changing moment of menopause, whether it's in perimenopause or your menopause or postmenopause. It is wreaking havoc on our bodies. So some people can work really hard at losing weight and they don't see a change in the numbers. And that can be so frustrating. And you think, but I did all this work. I did all the right things. Why? So what I strongly encourage women, especially at this age, is, okay, forget the numbers. Even get rid of the scale. I want you to do all these things. But why are you doing it? Because if it's to lose a certain number, it's going to be tough. If it's because I want to be healthier, I want to feel stronger, I want to be able to go and play with my kids. I want to go and do things and not be so slow and like lagging behind everyone else. Those are much more valid reasons. Because then you can see the change and there's purpose. So I want you to really think about your why. Whatever the change is. You know, I'm just talking weight loss here, but it can be anything. Think of whatever it is you want to change. Maybe you have a better balance, work-life balance in your life. Well, why? Why do you want that? Well, if you're getting drained at work and then you come home and you're cranky and you're miserable with your spouse or your kids, okay, that's a good why. Because I want to be able to come home and enjoy my time with my spouse, with my kids, whoever's at home. So really focusing on the why and maybe even writing it out, like just really fleshing it out. Like, what is the why? The next part is I want you to start small. If we start too big, it can be overwhelming. And that's where we get frozen because we think, I don't even know how to make this change. Start with really small baby steps. You know, maybe it's, if you're focusing on your mindset, you know, taking some deep breaths. You know, maybe setting your watch or your phone to go off once an hour. Hi, Gail. To remind you, just stop and take a few deep breaths. Just stop and be mindful and just look around you and be present in the moment. So I mean little steps, little baby steps. Again, I'd strongly encourage you to journal some of this because when you are in the process of making change, we get so absorbed in what we're doing that day or that week that we forget where we came from. So if you're in the beginning of this journey to make a change, if you start documenting and then 2-3 weeks down the road, if you're having a tough day and thinking, oh, I don't think this is working too well, and you pick up your journal and you go back to day 1 or day 2 and it's like, oh yeah, that's what it was like. Hi, Jojo. It's a really good reminder. So I'd strongly suggest, and I am not a big journal person, I'll be the first one to admit it, but in situations like this, especially, it's really good to document. So it's a reminder as to where you were. The third one, I want you to really focus on finding joy in the process. So it's not just, oh, I can be happy when I achieve. We talk about this all the time. It's not the destination, it's the journey. Hi, Lonnie. And so, feeling that joy as you are progressing along in that journey. And when you're not, again, go back in your journal, look at where you were and think, oh yeah, things are much better now. And you can feel more joy. But focusing on joy through those little steps will help you. Because if you're only thinking I can be joyful at the end when I'm all done and I've been successful, chances are you probably won't make it to the end because you're going to give up. The next thing I'd suggest is finding a buddy. Finding somebody, depending on, again, what the changes you're thinking of, is if you have a buddy that can, keep you accountable. Maybe you're both working on the same thing. And so you can just brainstorm and you can chat back and forth and see how each one's doing and keep yourselves accountable. Depending on what you're looking into, maybe it's getting a coach. I say every week, if you ever want to have a call, we can do a free 15-minute call where we can sit down and we can talk about what the challenges are. I can give you some easy strategies right there on the spot. We can talk about what it would look like to work together. There's no pressure. There's no strings attached, anything like that. You may decide to do it on your own. No problem. But sometimes you need that help. Hi, Catherine. Sometimes you need that extra support of another pair of eyes seeing what's going on. So don't be afraid to reach out. If that's you, below, just type me. I can easily set up a call. No problem. The fifth one is to reflect and redirect. So at the end of each day, I want you to reflect on what went well. Whatever this change is that you're wanting to make, what went well? This is not a time to beat yourself up. Well, I didn't do this. Well, I didn't do that. Well, then I'd ask you, so why? Do you know why you didn't do those things? Maybe there are things that deep down you don't think are going to be effective. Maybe it's time to reevaluate that. Hi, Julie. And, just to really think, okay, so what did go well? And what are the things that I struggled with a bit? And how can I reposition that for next time? It's the same thing I do with my clients. I give them homework after each session. And it's to implement the things that we're talking about. And, most of the times my clients do the homework. Sometimes, the odd time, it doesn't happen. I'm not like, wow, why didn't you get your homework done? I'll say, okay, so what stopped you? What's holding you back? Because there's a message there. So if you're not doing what you think you need to do to be successful, what's the underlying message? Maybe you don't believe you can do this. Maybe these tasks that you're putting together for yourself aren't necessarily the best tasks to choose from and you need to reevaluate. So taking that time just to reflect at the end of each day. And again, that's when you can write in your journal. What went well? What didn't? So for those of you who jumped on partway through, I always post these in the group so you can always rewatch it. Give me a thumbs up if some of these strategies, oh, that's me. Sorry, I'm not used to this with a new phone. Some of the things that happen in the background, I think when I do a double thumbs up, I get the fireworks. Anyway, if some of these strategies resonate with you, if you think, yeah, you know what, I should try some of that. So at the beginning, what I talked about was, understanding that there's fear. There's fear holding you back when you are feeling stuck and not able to move forward. It's identifying what are those fears. Are you afraid of being successful? And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Are you afraid of getting hurt? Are you afraid of disappointing people? Like, what are those fears? Yes, thanks, Yvonne. And then going through these steps that I suggested. So looking at, embracing your why, understanding why. If you don't know your why, it's not going to happen. So why do you want to make this change? What's the purpose? Then choosing small things to do, like one small thing. Hi, Erica. That you can choose to start moving that needle forward. If you do things that are too big, it's hard and it's easy for people to give up. Celebrating the joy, looking for the joy in the little things. If you're only waiting for the joy when you finish, again, it's going to be really tough because then it's just a grind. It's a grind to the end where now I can be joyful. Let's look at it, little steps, and find the joy along that journey. Budding up with somebody, whether it's a friend of yours that's going for the same kind of goal, whether it's matching up with a coach to help you along, whatever it is. And again, if you'd like to have that free chat, just type me below in the comments. I can set that up, no problem. Hi, Tanya. And finally, at the end of the day, reflecting. This is not when you beat yourself up for the things that you didn't do. This is looking at what did go well, other things you can do to move that needle along, but to keep a journal so that as you move forward and you're getting frustrated, you can reflect back as to where you started from, because sometimes we lose perspective of that. So hopefully this has been helpful for you. This will be coming out in an email later in the week if you want to have kind of notes as to what I was talking about in those 5 steps. And yeah, give me a thumbs up if this resonates for you. If you're watching this on the replay, please type replay below. And I hope you have a fabulous day. Take care.